couldn't see that thing.
I'm leaving that in.
You are leaving that in. Hey, what's up, people? Welcome back to Rants and Reviews. Today we're doing a review of a game up on Kickstarter called Dead Drop.
And that Kickstarter starts on October 1st. So
October 1st.
Keep that in mind.
Yes, it's designed by Jason Kotarski and put out by Crash Games. I always look to their name that way. Crash Games did a game on Kickstarter a while back called Rise, which I backed. And Jason Kotarski is known for, I believe, his podcast, which is called 20 Minutes of Filler, which is really, really cool. I listen to it all the time.
Awesome.
And he's also known for designing, I believe it was the Great Hauling Company by Dice Hate Me Games.
Well, we're going to jump right into this review. So I'll tell you how the game starts and sets up. So the game is designed so that way there's cards in everyone's hands. Think of this like Clue. In Clue, you put 3 cards away. These represent the killer, the item, and the place. In this game, you put 1 card away. You place 2 cards, stating how many players are in the game, in the stash. This card represents the dead drop, and these cards are the stash. And then you deal out the cards equally between the players. So for a 2-player game, each player is going to start with 5 cards. Mm-hmm. For the sake of this review, I'm going to go first. On your turn, there are 3 actions you can take. One of the actions are you can trade a card from your hand with 1 from the stash. Now, this isn't exactly a benefit for me because I'd be giving information to him from what was in my hand for a card that I might not know this early in the game. So another option I can do is I can take a card from my hand and I can secretly trade it with another player. For instance, I'm going to trade this card with Frank.
And I'm going to trade you this card.
Okay. So we look at the card after we've traded them. For instance, Frank and I both traded 3s. So you need to know in the game, and everyone is allowed to know by a little guide, how many cards of each type are in the game. So just so you know, there are 2 3s in the game. Now Frank and I know with very good clarity that the dead drop is not a 3. Also to note, there is a 4 in the stash. There's only 1 4 in the game, therefore the 4 is not in the dead drop. So there are 4 zeros, there are 3 1s, there are 2 2s, there are, and as I said, there's 2 3s, 1 4, and 1 5.
Correct.
So right now there's a possibility of it being a 1, a possibility of it being a 2, a possibility of it being a 0, or a possibility of it being a 5. But that's it.
That's what you know based on your hand.
Exactly. From what we know on the table.
Correct.
From what we know we've traded.
Correct.
So now next on the list is Frank's turn. Frank, you want to do that 3rd action, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I am going to do that 3rd action, which is called Selling Secrets, I believe. Yeah, Sell Secrets. I'm going to reveal 2 cards from my hand. And if another player, you reveal to another player, they must respond by saying yes or no. But basically what I'm revealing is if I reveal a 3 and a 2 and say, do you have a card in your hand that equals the value of these 2 numbers?
Which would be the 5 card.
Right.
You, as a player, you have to tell the truth.
Yes.
If I have a 5 in my hand, I have to say yes. I then would give him the 5 and he would have to give me one of those cards of his choice.
Correct.
However, I do not have the 5. And that tells a very important thing. He could be bluffing right now. He could have the 5 in his hand.
And be trying to bluff out the fact that I think the 5's on the table, trying to get him to then dead drop for it on his turn and be wrong. But
this would be more helpful if there were more than one type of that card in the game. Like, for instance, if you have a 3 and you ask him if he has a 3, and then you basically do this, he might think that while you have the 3, maybe it's there.
Right, but that's not the case in this.
So
I'm not bluffing. I'm not bluffing. I do not have the 5 in my
So
hand.
at the end of your turn, even after you've taken the action, you get to now try to see if you're right and grab the drop.
And the way you do that is by placing 2 cards and 2 cards only from your hand down and guessing that is the dead drop. Now,
the total of those 2 cards.
The total of these 2 cards. So 3 and 2 is 5. So I'm guessing that this is a 5. Now comes it's kind of like in Clue,
where you look
inside
the folder.
At the folder, or in this case the card, which in this case it is the 5. So I have successfully dead dropped, or picked up the dead drop,
making him the winner of this round. If he had been wrong, he'd be out of this round, and all the other players in the game would basically either be still in or have won if it was basically a 2-player game.
And if I'm knocked out, if I was wrong, my hand would go, I believe, face up in the stash.
Face up in front of everyone, not in the stash, but on the table.
Right.
So everyone could see it.
Correct.
And the benefit of this being that we now know what is in the game, which is a major benefit.
Yes, major.
Now, this game, it takes about, I want to say, About like 10 minutes to 15 at most.
Yeah, I mean, it took us like 5 earlier.
Yeah,
It's a very quick game.
It's a very quick game. It plays with 4 players, and it is up to 3 rounds through wins. So the first person to 3 wins the game. Now, Frank, let's see. What did you think about the game?
My thoughts about Dead Drop. I really like this game. Also, one thing I don't think we mentioned in the video was the fact that the actual Kickstarter is going to have 2 base decks with different themes. Dead Drop was really, really fun. It's a game that I personally want in my collection, and I really, really enjoyed it. Great job, Jason and Patrick, both.
There's one issue that I have with the game, and that is that it's 4 players. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the theme of the game. I love the style of the game. I really enjoy. It's actually my favorite part of Clue is not the moving around, but the kind of manipulating the way you ask questions and asking specific questions to try to find out what's in other players' hands, to find out what's in the envelope. And so that's my favorite part of Clue. So I love that factor. I just don't like the fact that it's only playable by 4 players. And hopefully with the extra sets, you might be able down the line to be able to expand it to more than that. But I'm not going to tell you to do that because I don't know for a fact if you can. So it's a fun game. Just hopefully they'll make it so you can play it with more players down the line. I would say this belongs in my collection, but it's very close to being a game that I wouldn't own, but I'd be happy to play if it was in your collection. Again, thank you for watching our reviews. I'm going to put a link to the Kickstarter once it's available, but I'm also going to put down below a link to their Board Game Geek page. So if the Kickstarter's not up yet, or there's any issues, you can at least always go there and share your thoughts, share your criticisms, share your just general enjoyment of the games. Anything else you want to say before we go, Frank?
Not at all. I think it's good.
It's good.
It's good.